Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings 2021 NFL Week 8 Best Bets. Remember to smash the like button for the episode. Subscribe to Mayo Media Network and play in the best tournament on DraftKings, the Pat Mayo Experience. DraftKings Rake-Free Listeners League, $15 to play, 3 max entry, and of course, because it's in the name, no rake. Get the link in the description, the only way that you can get in. And I want to give a special shout out to my guy, my partner in crime over at runthesims.com. Justin Freeman wins a GPP on Thursday night in consecutive Thursday nights using the tools at runthesims.com. I think this one was for $13,500. One Randall Cobb touchdown away from potentially being set for life. But hey, them's the breaks. He still gets the win. Just splits it a whole bunch of times using those tools. So go to runthesims.com/Mayo to get yourself a discount. But if you just want to get the monthly to test out all of the tools, including the optimizer, the player prop tool, everything like that, use code RTS on the monthly plan. You'll get 25% off. So I'd take advantage of that right now if I was you. Cam Stewart and Rob Pizzola are both on the line. Folks, we did not have a great week with the best bets. Rob, I think you're 0 for your past 20.
Yeah, I feel I actually shaved for like the first time in 8 months. I took a bath in some tomato juice and vinegar to try to get rid of the Kavorka or whatever that was from Seinfeld. Yeah, it's been a bad run. Like
your buddies used to say to me, Pizzola, remember when we went up to Vaughan? As a white man, you have to sleep with somebody from another race. That's how you shake it off. They say you can't sleep with a white chick. I go, what? They go, no. Anybody like, you Jamaican, Eastern Bloc, whatever, like whatever you are, if you're Irish, you can't be with an Irish chick. If you're Italian, you can't be with an Italian. They say you have to have sex with somebody from another country. That's a good start.
I mean,
to shake a curse.
I'm a married person. So
yeah. There's other methods. I'm just saying for single guys out there, if you're having a struggle, like, the slump buster, that's what they used to tell me. Anyway, I'm just the messenger.
I'd love to see the science behind that, but
they say it works, and I listen to those guys. They're rich.
I mean, they're rich because they're taking bets from guys like that. That's why they're rich.
Yeah, that's another good point. Yeah.
Yes. You guys both had Washington as your bronze pick last week.
We got screwed on that day.
I was gonna say I feel for you guys. I felt like that should have covered like 3 separate tabs.
They had 6 trips inside the Green Bay 30. And they scored 3 points. Like I've actually never seen that in my life. I've watched a lot of football. I've had like Taylor Heineke downing himself at the 1 yard line.
It's a stupid rule though too. It's another dumb rule because you know what I mean. No, it's just like who invented the NFL makes up stupid rules. It's like why is that even a rule? It shouldn't happen.
He's not giving himself up.
Yes,
he's trying
exactly.
to score. He's not trying to go down to protect himself.
Exactly.
He's trying to get in the end zone. That was actually super dumb. And then obviously the next play ends up fumbling. It was just, I'd like to not live that.
As you say, Rob,
relive that again.
That game put me in orbit. It was a huge money swing. It changes the whole record from 2-1 to 1-2. Like it does everything, right? And you're going through your numbers at the end of the week. It's like Washington should have won that game outright, by the way. And the fact they lost by 14, it was disgusting. But anyway, we got to move forward. That one was a bad beat for sure.
Well, to recap the week, Cam, you finally lost a gold pick for the first time all season because you took
the Jets.
Yeah, you took
the
Jets.
I blame Tim.
Yeah, I mean, I blame you for taking the Jets. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I agree. No, you're right, Pat. I can't put it on Tim with his stupid candy corn and all of his BS rankings, which like are just, by the way, not true. It's just I think he just throws his stuff out there. Like if you like candy corn over Reese's peanut butter cups, you're an absolute tool. But I'm going to say this. I'm never betting on anything that he likes. If he likes the Jets anymore, Pat, the game's off the board. Good to know. People told me on Twitter, you're an idiot, Cam. You should know the curse by now. It's very, very real and electric. So I'm done. If this guy's taking the Jets this week, it's in the back burner, or I take the other team.
Yeah, so combined, I believe we were, let's take a look at this. Well, you got your silver pick for the New York Giants. Correct?
Giants, baby.
That's a good one.
Rob talked me into the plus 2.5 instead of the Dolphins money line, so that came through on my gold pick. Those were the only 2 of the 9 we got correct. So I think we need to have a rebound week here, I'm pretty sure.
Onwards and upwards. I mean,
that's pathetic.
Well, listen, I mean, that Washington game swung us from 4-5 to 2-7, really. And that was I mean, this kind of stuff happens. It's random variance. We're picking 3 games a week. I mean, we're going to have weeks that are terrible, and we'll have some weeks that are good, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, there's what did Morency used to say about rock stars, Cam? Who they only rock stars live in the past, something like that.
Yeah. No,
famous line.
Yeah. We usually talk, like I open the show. I'm like, great call with whatever. Who cares about the past? We got 47 games to cap today. He's right. Like, yeah, who cares about the past? Let's talk about the future and let's do better. Let's hope your shivving technique works.
I
shake
hope
the bad
so.
sheet.
I don't actually have any, like, if it continues to go bad, I don't know what the next steps are. Like, I'm not going to have, an affair with some Jamaican woman in order.
I'm not telling you to break up your family unit. I'm just telling you the facts.
Okay.
That's all.
You're throwing it out there as if it's I guess it technically is an option, and I'm choosing not to pursue that option. But yeah, it seems like a little bit of an extreme. I don't really want to have to go to those.
Yeah. I understand.
Well, I'll kick things off with my gold pick. This is the only one of the picks that I guess anyone should listen to for me. 6-1 with the gold picks so far this season, and a combined 3-11 on the bronze and silver picks for myself. So let's hope this one can stay in. Ride the heater on the gold picks. I, once again, am going to a team that I've taken twice already this season on big spreads because I think that they run trains on bad teams. And it's going to be the Buffalo Bills, -14 over the Miami Dolphins. I mean, the Dolphins, we just talk about Miami going to cold weather as it is. I don't know how Tua is going to play in the cold weather, but all that stuff aside, the Bills pass rush, very good, coming off a pretty devastating win right before the bye in a game they should have won against Tennessee, a game that a lot of people watched. They're a lot healthier than they were 2 weeks ago, although Dawson Knox isn't going to play in this game. But the big factor comes down to this pass rush versus the lack of offensive line for the Miami Dolphins, that I just don't see how they can put up the requisite points to cover this 14. It would have to be the Bills shooting themselves in the foot over and over. And I don't think they're going to have a problem moving the ball. I think in the last 3 games they played Miami in Buffalo, they're averaging like 42 points a game. So if the Bills can get to 35 in this game, which I think that they will, then I think they easily cover this 14. The Bills love sticking it to the Dolphins for whatever reason, Pizzola.
Yeah, they've actually been smoking them the last couple of years. That is a fact. They've dominated this matchup or rivalry. I mean, can you even call it a rivalry anymore when one team just kills the other over and over? The things I'll say about this, Pat, I mean, I don't have an opinion on this game one way or another. I think the line is kind of right. I think you're probably paying a premium to bet Buffalo, but the difference between like a line of 12.5, 13 to 14 is not huge. And historically speaking, these big favorites that are coming off of a bye week, it tends to be a really bad spot for them throughout the history of the NFL. I don't know that it matters with Buffalo because I think they're so well coached, and they're also like kind of stewing from a loss a couple weeks ago to the Titans, a game that they probably should have ended up winning. They've had like a couple weeks to stew over that. Very narrative-y. Like, I don't know. I think 14 is the right number in this game. Buffalo probably comfortably leads from start to finish, and then it's just a matter of whether Miami can mount some sort of backdoor comeback later in the game. So nothing strong here, Cam. I don't know what you think.
Well, with the Buffalo Miami game, I don't love laying those type of points, but Mayo, I think you're on the right side. This is the thing too, the way they lost to Tennessee in that game. McDermott's got smoke coming out his ears. I thought it was a really bad game plan just to take deep shots when they could have nickel and dime their way to victory there. And they hate the Dolphins from the Brian Cox era. You know what I mean? It's just been one of those things. Miami used to take out their frustrations on Buffalo when they were a better team. Now Buffalo likes pounding them. Bills probably win this game by about 20 to 24.
Yeah, Rob, I do the same thing that you do at the very beginning of the week. I write down the spreads of the game of what I think that the spreads are going to be, and I try to see which ones are the most off. So this opened, I believe, at 13 or 13.5. I bet it at 13.5 earlier this week because I figured that, on all of these big spreads, very rarely do they end up going towards the underdog because there's a reason that you look at the game, you're like, oh yeah, of course they're going to kill this team, whatever. But I had this at 18. When I wrote it down. I think that Tua actually playing well in his last 2 games, and like you see all these tweets with just, the 4th best QBR by Pro Football Focus from Tua. It's like, yeah, it's one thing when you play Jacksonville and Atlanta. It's another thing when you have to play the Buffalo Bills. Like, this is a much worse matchup for him.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, listen, I think there's some positives you can take away from Tua's play in the last couple of weeks. There's also some big negatives because he had 2 red zone turnovers against the Falcons last week, which pretty much cost them the game. So there's that as well. I mean, he does look better than Jacoby Brissett. Let's call it out for what it is. It's been an upgrade since he's come back. But I think you're right here, Pat, in the sense that quality of competition matters. It's one thing to move the ball against bad defenses. It's another to have to do it against the Buffalo Bills. So, yeah, I mean, you couldn't get me to bet this game with Cam's money, personally. It's not one that's on my board this week, but I'll be rooting for Buffalo for you, Pat.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm just looking at the pass blocking for the Miami Dolphins. Worst in football right now. Worse than the Carolina Panthers. Worse than the New York Giants. They can't block for shit, so I'm not too concerned about that. And the Bills are, 11th in pass rush right now, but they don't do a ton of blitzing. They just rush 4 guys and they can get into the backfield. And if you're going to have a situation where you can just kind of drop everyone and make Tua go through his reads or goad him into making a few of these throws, it feels like the Bills defense should come up with something in this game as well to really kind of swing things. And they can't stop anyone, so that's also an issue.
For me, the big, like a really big issue. Sorry, Pat. Well, I'll move on in a second. But the Dolphins actually just don't have a pass rush this year either. I think that's the biggest issue for them in this game because they do have some decent corners that might be able to cover the Bills' receivers, but they can't get after the quarterback. It's been a problem for them the entire season. And you go back to last year, they were just benefiting off turnovers every week. Like I don't remember how many games in a row they had forced a turnover last year, but it was an insane amount. And now they're just not getting to the quarterback, not causing fumbles. And we're seeing that unless they can generate like a +2 turnover margin, there's not enough possessions in a game for them to keep it close.
Well, where are you going with your gold pick? Well, let's sweep the gold picks this week. Buffalo -14. Write that one in. Well, I've already cashed the money. I've already spent the money. So where are you going? I'll spend your money too.
I'm going to ask for a favor, a Cam Stewart-like favor this week because I'm just refreshing DraftKings right now. And the game that I like has moved to a number that
3?
It's the Colts have moved to 3.
I like the Colts too, but I liked them when they were +1, not -3.
I'm going to ask for the -2.5.
I'll give you that. Yep.
All right,
because it's still
you're the host. Do you give it to him?
Well, I put it this way: if I wanted to find a -2.5, Rob, would I go to betstamp.app potentially?
You absolutely would go to Betstamp. You'd put in the sports books that you bet at, whether that's DraftKings or anything else. You'd get the best available number delivered directly to you, and you can go and bet the best available number. There are still -2.5s out there right now. I'm not just making up a fictional. Actually, like 75% of the sports books are -2.5. I like the Colts this week, and I'm coming around on the Colts. Actually, if we go back 6 weeks, I think I was making fun of Cam for believing in the Colts. Now, that was a time where Carson Wentz had 2 bad ankles. They had no offensive line. They had a bunch of defensive injuries. They are going to have their entire offensive line intact this week for the first time this season. They have Carson Wentz, who is playing at a very good level. You look at the last 4 weeks in the NFL, a metric I love to look at is EPA per play. Carson Wentz is 5th in the league. He is ahead of quarterbacks like Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers. He's playing at a very high level right now. I don't know what we saw from the Titans defense last week. I don't think they're going to replicate it. I think it was just one of those games where everything went wrong for the Chiefs. The Titans defense is still a very poor unit. And then on the other side of the ball, everyone's talking about the Titans offense, which has been very good. I completely get it. They're running way more play action than they did early in the year. It's working to their benefit, but they also run the ball heavily on early downs. On 1st and 10, they run the ball more than any team in the league. Early down situations, they run the ball more than any team in the league. The Colts have the best run defense in the league right now. Number 1 DVOA, number 1 EPA per play, number 3 success rate. They can defend the run and force Tennessee into some 3rd down situations, and Tennessee will convert some. I'm not saying that the Titans are going to be held to like 10 points in this game, but I like the matchup for the Colts offense against the Titans defense more than the other way around. So I'll lay the 2.5 with the Colts this week. I think they kind of avenged that loss from a few weeks ago to Tennessee, where they were just a battered and beat down NFL team. I like the Colts in this spot.
Cam, it sounds like you do as well.
I love it, but I'm telling you, and that's why you said it, Rob, about Betstamp and shopping. I got the Colts at +1.
Yep.
I'm sitting them with that bet in my pocket when it opened up. It was unbelievable. And now this the steam on this situation here, but 2.5. I still like the Colts as well. Rob's right. I'm not taking the same game, because I think we got to mix it up. And when we lose with a game like that with Washington, it really hurt last week. But the Colts were definitely one of my top 5 picks this week, if it's anything under 3 points.
I actually liked the Titans in this spot. It just feels like the world is on the Colts. Maybe it's just maybe it's I only talk to sharp people and they all like the Colts here, but this line has swung massively, like you pointed out. I don't really know. Besides, I just guess the sentiment on the Colts that they're going to win this game.
I like that. Sharp people. I only talk to sharp people.
It was one person in market. So like there's a better, that's a fellow paisano, I would call him, Cam. His name's Joey Tunes, very influential.
Joey Tunes.
Very influential better in market. And he bet the Colts last night. And then what happens is once someone like that who wins bets one side, you get what's called steam chasing, where people start to chase the number even further. But I made this game Colts -3 personally. That's my number on the game. I think there's value in 2.5, and I like the matchup. But yeah, I mean, it's the NFL, and I feel strongly about my plays every week. And sometimes it doesn't work out, but I really do like this matchup for Indy.
Well, the biggest thing here is, can the Colts run defense, which has been excellent and currently top 5 in the league, stand up to Derrick Henry? And and you've talked about that the Titans have started to incorporate more play action. That's working out. You'd assume that Julio is probably a little bit healthier this week. He's been a little bit banged up. Maybe they're getting back to full health in the receiving core, which had really limited them a little bit, although they were still winning games. But it's just really weird to see, like, the Colts run defense grades really highly. Their tackling does not. That seems like a problem against Derrick Henry. That would be I'm not betting the Titans. I just happen to like the Titans in the game, especially now that they're +3. I think that's an awful lot of disrespect for a team that just beat Buffalo and Kansas City.
Oh, for sure. I think it's kind of like their high point. I like, if you consider NFL teams like stocks, just in general, right? I mean, it's the same notion of always trying to buy low and sell high. The reality is you're always trying to catch a team where the market undervalues them or overvalues them. And I don't think you're going to get a higher point for the Titans this entire year in terms of the way that they are viewed publicly than after beating the Chiefs and Bills back-to-back. I could be wrong. Maybe they smoke the Colts this week as well, and they go even higher. But in my opinion, this is one of those situations where a few weeks ago, we probably thought the Tennessee Titans were an average football team. And now they come off 2 straight wins where they looked really well, really strong. And all of a sudden, like, the Titans are going to draw a lot of public money here at this price, right? Anyone who rushes to bet this game at this point is going to look at the Tennessee side. I don't know. I think the Colts are improving just as much as the Titans are improving over the past few weeks. Like, their only blemish was that loss to Baltimore on Monday Night Football over the past month, and they should have won that game as well. So perception of them might be a little bit different if they ended up winning that game.
Cam, gold pick from you.
I wanted to go in so many areas. Rob, I almost looked at the Colts as one of my gold picks too. I got a couple things written down here. I'm going to go off script. No, we're not doing that. I told you, we're not. You're taking Indianapolis. We go different routes. Like Jets with Tim Anderson, it's done. Like, now we move forward, onward and upward. I'm taking a crazy game right now. I like the New Orleans Saints. Everybody thinks Tampa Bay's God. They're not. And I'll tell you one thing that I saw the Saints against the Seahawks, they get to the quarterback. They might hurt Tom Brady in this game. I understand Tom Brady has a great release point, but this is the situation. Everyone loves Tampa Bay. They're running up the score on everybody. They're actually acting like complete jackasses the way New England used to do this stuff to people, and the league's taking notice. This is the week, Saints. You barely beat Seattle. You look bad doing it. Market perception. Even the line, I thought we could get a little bit more, but I don't give a crap. It should be 5 on. It's 4.5, Pat. Fine. I'll take it at 4.5. Give me the New Orleans Saints. I think they can beat Tampa Bay outright this week. As I said, outright. Give me the damn Saints. Jameis Winston plays better this week. They find things to go. Taysom Hill changes that whole offense and beat the stupid Buccaneers. I hate this team now. It's funny. Everywhere Tom Brady goes, I hate their teams. Screw you, Tampa. Go New Orleans. Let's go.
I'm on the Saints as well, mainly because anytime the Saints are favored by more than 3 points, just bet against them and you win. Anytime they're favored by fewer than 3 points or they're underdogs, they cover that spread. That's been their game plan all season long.
That's the recipe. Spread me a little Saints.
It's not even this year only. Like, if you look at the Saints under Sean Payton, they never cover the big spreads when they're favorites, and they tend to cover whenever they're in this underdog role. I agree. So, I mean, I don't know if that makes this a good thing or bad thing, but I do think the Saints have some value in this number. And this is a team, this is like the one team in the league that for some reason Brady is always struggling against. And I know Brady beat them in the playoffs last year. They lost the 2 regular season games where he didn't look good. But the Saints defense is fully healthy now too. They got the reinforcements back in Marcus Davenport and Quan Alexander on Monday Night Football. The defense played really well. And Tampa Bay is still that team that you can dink and dunk your way up the field on them. They still have injuries at corner. And I know the Saints wide receivers aren't great, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers struggle to defend opposing running backs, not in the running game, out of the backfield. And the Saints have a huge weapon in Alvin Kamara there. Jameis is protecting the ball, not giving up possessions. I like the Saints. I mean, 4.5, it doesn't seem like a huge number, and it's not. I mean, Tampa Bay's offense is very good, but I still think there's value on that side. And to add to Cam's point about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I've been a notorious Tom Brady hater for my whole life, probably because he's cost me so much money over the course of my life. But there is nothing more tilting in the NFL than when you bet against the Tampa Bay Bucks at home and you hear that damn cannon going off every time they score the touchdown.
Yeah, know what I like the cannon for? The Columbus Blue Jackets. That's my type of cannon. And I'll tell you this too. You're going to get yours, Tom, for fleecing that fan. What a horrible, disgraceful move there, too. You're one of the richest guys. You're married, banging beautiful supermodels, and you're ripping off a fan and doing it with a smile on your face. No. I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish. The guy's an idiot, too. But the ball is going to be worth $750,000. No, Rob, just listen.
Okay,
before I finish.
I'm listening. I hear you, Carl.
Then you make your point, okay? $1,000 coupon at the gift shop. That's more. I'd rather be punched in the face. Oh, hey, Tom, you want to go for a round of golf? First of all, the guy's a moron. Horrible negotiator and screwed his family out of potential income to a nice nest egg. But Tom Brady also ripped the man off, didn't give him fair value for what's going on, and acted like a complete jerk, joking about doing it. Hey, this guy might be a great football player. I didn't like the way that situation was handled. Guy's a stooge. Brady, that was mean. And I'll tell you something, you're going to pay for it this week as a New Orleans Saints beat down your ass. I hope you come back. You know what? I hope not for a major injury, but I hope Brady gets beat up in this game hard. I hope he can't move. How's that? Where
are the valuations of this football coming from? Because honestly, the number that this football has gone from 200,000 on the first reports this week to now people are like, oh, it's $1 million football.
So 200,000, even if you add up the stuff that they gave the guy, it was under 50K. They lowballed him.
Oh, they gave him a Bitcoin.
Yeah, he got a Bitcoin. He got a Bitcoin,
which is 60K right now, and who knows? It could be 200K next year.
Whatever. There's ass coin and this coin and your coin. There's going to be some new coin anyway. I want damn currency. I want life tickets.
Bitcoin is a currency.
I want everything.
It's a digital currency.
I know it's a currency. I don't have any Bitcoin. That's why I'm angry about Bitcoin. When you told me about it years ago, I could have had this stupid friggin' house paid off and I could have moved already. But I'm going to tell you that they still fleeced him, Rob, for what the thing is going to be worth compared to what he got. And they did it with a smile. Brady's laughing about it. He doesn't want to give him anything. I thought it was pathetic, actually. That's my take.
Whenever I have a bad week in the NFL or I lose bets, I always just think about how years ago I sold 20 Bitcoin to do my basement in the house that I'm living in right now.
See, that was a smart play. I wish you gave me Bitcoin as my gold pick.
I could buy a mansion with a nice finished basement for the same price right now. I literally sold 20 Bitcoin at $1,300 to do the basement.
You had to do it though, Rob. At least
I didn't have to do anything.
No, but there's people that do really, really dumb stuff. You had but you put it towards something. I'm going to give you credit there. It's not like you had something and you went to the pawn shop and you sold a $10,000 Fender Stratocaster for $75 because you needed a rock. You know what I mean? And then you're coming back. Hey, I cleaned myself up. I'm oh yeah, I forgot. I gave this guy my tailor-made golf clubs too. He owns everything I got. That's the thing. You had a job to do. It's not like you picked up a drug habit or, did something stupid. You actually put work into your home. That's good. I never owned Bitcoin. I'm a fool. You told me about it a long time ago. I'm I got enough problems with regular currency. The rest is history. I got nothing.
All right, let's get to the silver picks then. Rob,
do you have Bitcoin?
I do not have any Bitcoin. I have Ethereum.
Oh, okay,
that's
Ethereum,
my game.
But you're involved in the crypto space. You're in crypto.
Yeah, kind of. People just give me stuff. It's great. It's one of the benefits of being me.
How about people
hey, do you want some Ethereum? Hey, do you want some NFTs? Sure, why not?
Who's giving you?
Nobody gives me anything.
Ethereum?
Yeah, nobody gives me coins. Know what? You can give Pat all the friggin' cryptocurrency in the world. How about somebody owns a meat shop? Bring me over and let's load up my freezer because I don't have any crypto. Okay.
The key is, Rob, when you sell the sponsorships on the show, you sell them in crypto, because apparently like, crypto people really want to get in the space. And it's not for free. It's an exchange for advertising, but take it in crypto instead of taking it in US dollars. And it's a way for me to build my portfolio.
Nice.
It's
Pat.
that's a very shrewd move, Pat. Like, it's very impressive.
Pat's smarter than the average bear. He's no stooge. Like, obviously he's hoarding crypto, and one of those cryptos is going to be worth something. That's the thing. It's like the market, right? This one's not going to do nothing. One of them's going to take off like Bitcoin, and he's going to get rich.
Well, I mean, just
am I right, or am I out of bounds?
No, you're right. Like, look at Cum Rocket in the last week. Cum Rocket took off, went to the
Cum
moon.
Rocket?
I'm not even joking.
Paul,
You think I'm joking?
Paul, don't you have a bunch of Cub Rocket? Oh, okay. So no,
It's called Cum Rocket,
It's called Cum Rocket,
and it's not a sex toy. It's a
it
currency.
literally has zero utility, like, at all.
It's not a vibrator.
No,
What is it?
It's a digital coin.
Yes.
And yeah, it's
And it's called Cum Rocket, and nobody's like said anything about it. Like, no, is it? This is the way. It's a great name.
honestly, like, we live in the
Mayo.
most absurd time.
We
right?
do. I think
Like,
there was an ass currency too, wasn't there? There's something like
There's
ass
all sorts.
coin.
There's like boner coin. There's a lot of.
I got to get into the crypto market just for the jokes.
I mean, you could have been
This
in
is
the
great.
I'm shocked you just don't have a bunch of cryptocurrency, because there's all these like weird offshores from like 10 years ago that only like accepted cryptocurrency
No.
if you wanted to bet
You
on
know what
them.
the thing is, Pat?
I thought you
All
would
of those
have
went under.
randomly had. I thought you would have randomly had Bitcoin like in these accounts.
No, I had accounts on like Bet on Sport, like whatever. The money's just gone. They didn't give me anything. They just shut up shop and try to get their money when they're in some island. Like, I've had accounts with thousands of dollars on, and the companies went under. I got nothing.
Well, that's
Like,
why
really
people should
nothing.
use regulated sports books like DraftKings Sportsbook, where you will always get
Yes.
your money if you win.
I learned my lesson.
Agreed. I mean, regulated sports books, they have to pay you out. You actually have a claim
Cum
if
Rocket.
you actually have a claim to your money if they try to screw you, which is nice.
Good.
Yes.
Actually, I had a big company screw me. I'm not going to rip them on the air. I had a lot of problems. Can I say William Hill gave me a lot of problems.
Well,
They made it
Hill-
very, very almost impossible to get the money out, and then you get frustrated, and then you just make stupid bets, because I couldn't deal with these guys anymore. Very frustrating. They're good now, but back when I was betting, Rob, this is like 20, 25 years ago. Like, I had a real problem with them.
Well, it's different. Obviously the market evolves. I'll say thank you to William Hill for the $4 bets that they'll take from my account right now. They're very. They're very.
They're like the $1
risk-averse
blackjack
sports
guys.
Yeah, I could deposit and they'll let me bet $500 a pop. I win 2 bets and I'm down to $4. Like, I'm not exaggerating either. By the way, it's $4. I actually think it's like $3.98. Anyways, we move on. I digress. I mean, this is just the state of sports betting, and sometimes you just gotta deal with low limits.
Silver pick,
Yeah.
Rob Pizzola. Let's get off the schneid. I believe you are. Let me pull this up here. This has been a tough one for me. I'm 1-6 on silver picks. You're 0-7 on silver.
I have not
picks.
won a silver pick. I'm 100% sure I have not won a silver pick. this
What's
year.
my cryptocurrency silver there, Pat?
I don't know. You're 5-2. You're doing well. You're 5-1
I
and
like
1.
see. I've always liked silver. I've always liked silver. My retirement. My dad has our family used to be miners. Sorry, I know we got to move on with the show.
No, it's fine.
Sourdough Raise, a book written by. You can actually get it in like the library or whatever by my grandfather. They had gold and silver mines in Washington State, Alaska, all that area. Actually, our family, my dad's side comes from the West Coast, and they used to be gold miners. And my dad has some coins, Pat, like old silver coins that are worth money. So that's something I got. It's not cryptocurrency, but they're worth some good cash.
It's true.
I feel
and you don't want to go to the pawn shop and trade those for a rock.
No, those are yeah. The guy's like, I'll give you a couple $100. They're worth like thousands. Yeah. No thanks. No thanks.
These assets though, like gold and silver, like gold is appreciated like 3% in a decade, and that's like supposed to be our top pick. I mean, I'm not telling you how to run a show here, Pat, but like we could have done like a Bitcoin pick, Ethereum pick, Cum Rocket pick.
What do we do? We do Cum Rocket, gold, ass coin, silver. I don't know what you got for bronze.
boner coin.
Yeah,
bronze.
boner. And boner coins for our bronze pick. Sounds perfect.
All right, I'll actually intentionally go with the Chargers here. That way, when I go 0-8, at least we'll get some comedy out of
from
Jeff
Geoff
as well.
Yeah, there we go.
But honestly, Chargers are down to -4. I get it. They kind of don't have a home field advantage. I think people are still a believer in the Patriots. I am not personally a believer in the Patriots. I don't think that their offense is very good. And I think it's being propped up by the fact that they've played a ton of bad defenses this year. They've already played the Jets twice, who are dead last in the league in defense. They've played the Dolphins, who are 30th. They've played the Texans, who are 27th. And yeah, the Chargers don't have like this stout defense, but they're like a league average defense. They're coming off a bye week. They might get Drew Tranquill back at linebacker, which would be huge for them because he's played very well this year. Nasir Adderley's back at safety. So this is pretty much like a healthy defense for them now. And a lot of people talking this week about last year's game. The Chargers got shut out by Bill Belichick last season. So many things have changed since then. Like for one, the Patriots defense is completely different. Stephon Gilmore's gone. Jonathan Jones is on IR. Devin McCourty and Dante Hightower are banged up. Like this is not the same defense as a year ago. And it's not the same Chargers offense because they don't have Anthony Lynn coaching the team anymore. And they also upgraded their offensive line in a big way. And the last thing I'll say about this game, just in general, and why I think the Patriots are overrated, they're the only team in the league that has only played 2 road games this season. They look a lot better than they are because they've played a lot of home games where they've been able to compete with the likes of Dallas and Tampa Bay. But I mean, one of their road games was against the Texans, and they almost lost to Davis Mills. So I think this is a cheap price. I would have made this game 6, which we did see earlier in the week. Market seems to disagree and is moving towards New England, but I like the Chargers. I think that the Patriots are a fraud.
They were a shortlist game for me as well as one of the top 3 picks. I really like the Chargers. I like them at 5. I like them at 4.
I agree.
I'm with you on New England. I'm just not buying it. I do see how they cover this number, though, because people will just point back and say, look at when Tampa Bay came into New England, and New England really gave them a game. Like, they don't win any of these games, but, of course, they don't need to win the game to cover this number. But
True.
The Chargers' rush defense is god-awful. And if there's one thing the Patriots are going to try to do is run the ball as often as possible. The problem becomes for them is if the Chargers look more like the Chargers before they played Baltimore and they just have quick strike capability. Mike Williams is back healthy. I really think that was a huge problem for them against the Ravens, that he was playing at like 50% or worse. He looked atrocious in that game. That if they can just get up 14-0, I don't know what the Patriots do.
I will say this about the Charger, and you bring up a really good point, Pat, about their rush defense and it being bad. And they also have not defended opposing running backs well out of the backfield this year. I think so much of that is to do with the schedule that they face this season. If you look at the Chargers' schedule of opposing offenses, all these teams have the same thing in common. They can all throw deep. Every single one of those teams that they've played, like they've played the gauntlet of opposing offenses this year. Like just bringing up their schedule right now. Week 1, they got Washington when it was Ryan Fitzpatrick. Week 2, they had Dallas. They've had Kansas City, Las Vegas, Cleveland, Baltimore. These are all teams that can beat you down the field. They have to kind of drop 2 safeties back and give up the run to a lot of these teams. I don't think that they're going to come out of a bye week and defend the Patriots in the same way that they've defended the rest of these teams. I think Brandon Staley is a very good head coach. He was a great defensive coordinator last year who adjusted their game plan a whole lot. I think it's a complete opposite. They're going to try to make the Patriots beat them deep, and the Patriots just don't have the receivers to do that, in my opinion. So I'll be surprised if the Chargers don't stack the box in this game and try to take the New England running backs out of it. I mean, that's just a subjective guess on what they will do, but I don't think it's going to be a situation where they're just going to let New England run all over them all game.
My silver pick, Cam, is going to be a prop. I haven't gone to the prop market in a while because I kept losing them.
I like that.
But this is one that I've actually bet every week this season, and it's come through 6 of 7 times. They finally adjusted the number up a little bit, but it still seems too low for me based on what's going on with them, is Patrick Mahomes over 21.5 rushing yards. He's been over this number in 5 of 7 games, each of the past 5, and he's covered his rushing total in 6 of 7 games so far. Like, their offensive line just just isn't holding up. And what it's really forcing them to do, especially with Hill and Kelsey a bit banged up at the moment, is Patrick Mahomes just takes off for like 15 yards at a time. He easily covers these numbers. He gets his one big chunk run every single game as he just looks down the field and doesn't have to scrambles for a bit, doesn't see anyone, just takes off and there's no one there. Then he piles up another like 4, 5, 6 yard rushes during the game, and he's easily there. I think the Giants will be able to get into the backfield. I think it's FU time for the Chiefs. They really need to, I don't necessarily, listen, this isn't the BCS. They don't need to make a statement. They just need to beat the Giants. But, you know, home field, I think that Mahomes is going to be able to elude the defensive line in this game and continue to go over his rushing prop. The Mahomes rushing prop is the new Jameis rushing prop, Cam.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great bet. Kansas City's just also playing bad. They've had the worst luck going. I think Mahomes also, you know, he talked to the team. He says, I got to be better. And if he doesn't see it, instead of forcing the issue, he's going to take off. Pat, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually had over like 50 or 60 yards. I wouldn't be surprised if he busted a long touchdown run in this game. This is a huge game against the Giants for the Kansas City Chiefs, for the Chiefs against the Giants, sorry. And I think they're going to be showing up big time. If they have to make a statement, like they've got to blow these guys out of the water because they're the most disappointing team in the NFL right now.
Pat, just a question. Have they been adjusting these Mahomes yardage totals up, or has it been around that same number for most of the year?
It's been going up incrementally almost every single week. Like I was betting it at 15.5. I bet it at 17.5. I bet it at 19.5. It was 19.5 last week. It's up to 21.5 now.
So opposing teams are making the Kansas City Chiefs work their way methodically down the field, right? You look at how teams are defending them. They're taking away the deep ball. And I think that really helps in terms of Mahomes' rushing yardage because you have your safeties away from the line of scrimmage in general, playing deep downfield. On top of that, you'd see in years past, whenever the pocket would break down for Mahomes, he'd look downfield, he'd find someone one-on-one, and he'd just lob it up to them. And you're really not facing those types of situations this year. So when he scrambles out, he's way more likely to run it. I actually like that. I haven't really, I'm not a big props guy in general and don't pay attention to the markets. But I think that Mahomes is definitely way more active now because he has so many players in the opposing secondary that are just preventing that deep ball, and he's just taking what the defenses are giving him.
So, Cam, we got Chargers -4,
Yep.
Mahomes over rushing prop. So what's it for you with the silver picks?
I like so many things, Pat, but the problem is like with Colts, Rob already took the Colts or some other games that I'm looking at. I don't want to take a favorite. You know what? I hate to do this.
Jets.
I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions. Okay? I'm going with the Lions.
I mean,
this is it.
I like Philly in this game,
it.
but I refuse to pick or bet on Philly anymore because they keep costing me way too much money.
Yeah. I'm taking the Lions. I'm getting 3.5. I'm getting the hook. This is it. They brought everything in the kitchen sink out last week. Fake punts, everything. They hung, they covered against the Rams in that game. If you can't beat Philadelphia is so one-dimensional. Hey, okay, Hurts, he's going to roll out, can't find anybody, heave it up in the air and hope for a flag, which in the NFL, sometimes it happens. The Detroit Lions, if you can beat anybody, it's these guys. I worry about the letdown a little bit after playing well against the Rams and not getting it done. Goff steps up in this game. I think you can carve up the Eagles. The Raiders did. Give me the Detroit Football Lions at +3.5. Hey, I think they win the game outright. This is a game they got to win. People are talking about them going 0-17. This is the week. Give me the Lions +3.5. They beat Philadelphia. I'll take the damn points.
I feel like they've left everything they had on the field last week. In terms
See, that's what I worry about.
Yeah, like
I feel like that was their Super Bowl last week, right?
Yeah.
Like the onside kicks and the fake punts, and they still lost the game by 9 points.
They do.
I mean, the Rams are very good. Don't get me wrong, but like they stole all those possessions and still lost the game by 9 points. I agree with you, Pat. I mean, it's the Lions to me are just
they're bad.
They're such a miserable team, and I think people. Cam, I'll be rooting for your pick. I'm not. Listen, I lean Eagles on this. I almost
want to switch it now. Like I'm worried about it too. There's so many other things that I like. I don't know. This is the thing about doing three. I'm used to betting the board.
I'll give you an opt out if you want to opt out of the Lions right now. You can opt out.
But I don't like. I feel like we shouldn't. You shouldn't be influenced by us, Cam. Actually, honestly, this year when we've been opposite, you win more than we do.
It's true.
That's been the case this year.
You might be undefeated in games that we've picked against you in.
There
was only one that we got it. Yeah.
I know. I think we're maybe being like we're trying to play shrink here with the Lions last week. They're at home, right? That's the one good thing is if they were on the road again, I'd really worry about it. They just can't. I don't think they can just lay an egg. Philadelphia is a bad team. You know, I'll stick with it. There's other games that I like, but I'm going to stick with it.
Here's my thing with the Eagles. I think the Eagles are bad, but the Lions are terrible. And I think if you look at the Eagles' last 5 games, right, they've played Las Vegas, good offense, Tampa Bay, really good offense, KC, Dallas. The only one in between there where they didn't play good offense was Carolina, and they won that game on the road. They came from behind. They didn't look great in that game. But I think the Eagles this is kind of like a buy low with them just because they've had this run of all these really good teams is the reality of the situation. Whereas the Lions are losing by like 10 to start every fourth quarter. They're always the Lions are just always losing. I think they're just so bad. And we talk ourselves into them being competitive because we like their coach, right? Dan Campbell's like, he's the guy that the players want to play for him. And but at some point talent means something, right? I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I'll root for you, Cam.
Well, the Minnesota line went from like +1 to -2.5. Like I'm just looking at some of these games.
Well, that's speculation on Prescott, right?
Yeah. So I talked about this on the Monday show, and I feel like it's such a dummy for not doing it because there was the rumor like going into the bye week, like when you heard about Dak's injury, it was like, man, he might not play this week. But I looked at the line. He's not gonna, right? And I was like, I looked at the line. I was like, oh, I guess they think that he's playing because it was Dallas -2 when it opened. I was talking through it with me. I was like, you'd be like smart to bet the Vikings right now at +2.5. And if Dak somehow gets ruled out, the Vikings will just go to like a field goal favorite, which they probably will by the time that
higher.
Well, I mean, we just don't know about Dak yet. Like
right. So somebody's taken a lead on the market that believes Dak is going to be out. And Grant, like with the way that Dak was talking yesterday, I think it's more likely that he's out because it was sort of like, hey, if this was a playoff game, I'd be playing. This is not my decision. The team is making this decision on my behalf. We're going to take it cautious. And I think somebody probably read that and said, you know what? If Dak's out, this line's going to like 4.5, 5, 6 Minnesota. Cooper Rush stinks. Like he's a horrible back.
He is.
Like I'm shocked the Cowboys didn't get like some sort of veteran serviceable backup, but that's a huge difference. So somebody's taking a lead on market here, but regardless, this number is not going to close -2.5. Either the Vikings are going to get bet up if Dak's out, or if Dak is announced that he's going to play, it's just going to shift back to Pick'em or maybe even Dallas favored. So it's really tough to know where it's going to go, but someone is taking a lead here, believing that Dak is going to be out.
Cam, do you got a bronze pick for us?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, man. I'll tell you this board. There's things I like. I almost like everything the same. Like there's no 3 that go above everybody. But you know what? I have to make a statement. I'm betting against my team this week.
Oh no!
I think the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm going the other way. That was my bronze pick.
Oh God!
I like this.
Why do we do this?
Guaranteed.
Why do we do this? Well, no, it's guaranteed winner night, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
It's good for winner. It's good for the people. It's not good. Like I like when we're on the same side. But here's the deal. I'm a Seahawks fan. This team, honestly, me, Pat, me, you, Pizzola, me, drunk, whatever, any type of situation. I've been saying this all year, and people got to see it this week. Let's run the ball 8 times. Like Seattle's game plan against the Saints. Like are these guys, they're the worst coaching staff in the history of coaching staffs. I'm not going to say, hey, Urban Meyer likes to go to a Buffalo Wild Wings and get frisky with some people, take some selfies. Fine. These guys have had a week off to prepare. I know it's after the London game, but asking Seattle to win by 4 points, I think it's too much. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win this game. To be honest with you, Seattle, that loss has basically taken them out. I think the wind's out of their sails right now. So I think the Jaguars go into Seattle. I prefer Seattle on the road. They're at home. Who cares? Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars +3.5. I think they actually are going to win the game, and Trevor Lawrence is going to have a huge game.
Funnily enough, the Seahawks aren't out of it by any sort of way. Like you look at the top 6 teams in the NFC,
they will be.
They're bad. Maybe they will be, but like there's this whole collection of teams fighting for that 7th spot. It's going to be pretty interesting. There's about 6 teams that can actually get it right now, and when Russell Wilson comes back, maybe the team looks a little bit better. So here was my case, and I'm not going to lock talk myself into Seattle minus 3.5 just yet. But here would be my case for Seattle, that since Geno has taken over, he had to come in and face the Rams defense, he faced the Pittsburgh defense, and he faced the Saints defense. Three of the best defenses in the league. I mean, the Rams are the best. I think the Saints are the third best, and the Steelers are the seventh best. And listen, he has not looked good by any means. And the one thing that Jacksonville can actually do really well is run the ball. They have the best rushing offense so far in the league. Even when they're down, they continue to run the ball for whatever reason. But the one thing the Seahawks do well is actually stop the run. So if they can just mitigate that a little bit, it's a lot like the Colts in the Titans game. Is it like, can they slow down Derrick Henry? If they do, they're going to win. And I think that's going to be the same case here with Seattle and James Robinson, that if they can slow him down and make sure that they can't convert these long third downs, like these 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8s, which I think that they can, because Urban Meyer's a dunce and he's just not going to call good plays, that Geno Smith can actually move the ball against Jacksonville. It was the first time he's played a crap defense. It's not like he's going to go out and look like Lamar Jackson, but I think they can
Here's the thing, though, Pat.
I think they can put up 25 points.
I think that Jacksonville is going to use Lawrence as a running tool. I would actually put his rushing over. He's getting more confident every week. You talk about Mahomes. What about Lawrence? That's the thing. They're going to try to shut down Robinson. Lawrence is a really good athlete. And then that's going to confuse Seattle because they're thinking, hey, Robinson, but they're going to have another quarterback that rushes the ball. That's bad for business for them. Jameis Winston, you think, is a rushing quarterback? No, he's not. He's more of a passing quarterback. And Seattle could have issues there. I'm just saying the weapons of Jacksonville. The Seahawks, they played great defensively against the Saints, but kind of like to Pizzola's earlier point, that's an anomaly. They're not a good defensive team. They played good on prime time. This is Jacksonville coming into town, and this is the type of game Seattle snoozes. You snooze, you lose. Jacksonville, if they lose, I think they lose a heartbreaker. I don't think they lose by 4 or more. I think they lose by a field goal at most. I think they can win outright. Jags it is. I'm a horrible Seahawks fan, but this team just breaks my heart. Watching their play calling run every time, it's really pissing me off. It's they're starting to really, really anger me as a fan.
I actually like that Lawrence over prop. It's 17.5 right now.
Oh, that's I'd put it in. I'd gold silver. Oh yeah, I think Trevor Lawrence rushes for like 48 yards in that game.
Yeah, well,
I like to bet Trevor Lawrence anytime touchdown scorer a lot of times as well, because around the goal line they try to use him a little bit more in the running game as well.
Anytime touchdown for Trevor Lawrence in this game is plus 350. Not bad.
Sold.
Game. So there's my same game parlay. I'm just going to go in and bet Trevor Lawrence anytime touchdown, Trevor Lawrence over rushing yards, and that'll get me up to like 6-1 or something like that. It'll be perfect. But no, I'm actually going to write that one down as one of the props because
write it down.
Just looking at it, he didn't go over that in the Miami game because he didn't need to. They could just hand it off and run the entire time. But Jameis did go over his rushing prop against Seattle, although he's not a rushing quarterback. He did get over the 20 yards. But in the games before that, when Jacksonville was getting beat down and they actually had to play catch up, 7 for 28, 8 for 36, 6 for 27, 2 for 21. If you think that Seattle is going to post some points, that Trevor Lawrence rushing prop seems pretty good.
I love it.
All right.
I think he runs wild over Seattle. That's the thing. Like if Jameis Winston got that type of yardage, you could double it with Lawrence. So I think that's a good pick there, Pat.
Jameis sneaky good at rushing yards. It's never like a lot of rushing yards, but it's way more than you ever think it is.
I also think that Sean Payton has kind of told Jameis this year, like if stuff breaks down, just take off with the ball, pick up a few yards for us. Just no more heaving it downfield into double coverage. Like eliminate the turnovers type of thing. And I think that's worked well the Saints offense is not humming, don't get me wrong, but like it's kind of working for them, right? They're one of the few teams that can just like rely on the defense and just make sure that they don't turn the ball over. It'll hurt them down the road. They won't be able to win a Super Bowl like that, but for now it's working.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it right now. They don't have that one. Do they have Mahomes? No, they don't.
Hey, Pat, we're betting so many things right now. Maybe we should do like one time where we just bet the whole board. Like just like props that like
I mean that's an
idea.
idea
Does that on the Wednesday show.
Yeah,
already.
Oh, he does. Sorry. That's what I do all the time. But on my shows, it's like if the game's on the board, we bet it. It's hard there. I'm going to be honest with you. Psychologically, nailing down to 3 games is hard for me. Like it just doesn't compute. Like I need more.
Yeah, more. I think maybe like listen. I'm not going to restructure Pat's show here. He's the host.
It sounds like you are, but that's.
I'm going to offer like what I think is maybe an alternative down the road, or maybe for next year.
6-pack.
Well, we don't have to make it an arbitrary number. It doesn't have to be 3. Doesn't have to be 6. Some weeks you like 2 games. Some weeks you like 5 games. and we just kind of roll with the punches like that.
It's easier with minerals of gold, silver, bronze, 3. It's
I
the way
get it.
Pat structures. He's a structured guy.
I'm just
and he's
making
organized.
I'm making a suggestion. I put it in the suggestion box. You might crumple it up and throw it in the garbage.
I like beer. So Pat, how about we turn 3 to 6? We're obviously not doing
I mean, if we were going to change the format of the show, I think that we just allocate everyone a budget for the year and then see how much money people have at the end when we make our bets.
Ooh, that's good. It's getting
Like a
up
bankroll,
there.
a fictional bankroll.
Yeah.
And we just kind of throw it.
And
we
but
can track
do
it
we
in-
do the
we can
same
track
for
it in
every
bet stats.
game, or you can do whatever the
No,
hell
you
want?
can say, no, I really like this. Like, instead of having your gold pick, be like, hey, if let's say we gave everyone $20,000 theoretically at the beginning of the year, you'd be like, oh, I like the Bills this week. I want to put $5,000 on the Bills minus 105. And then you can put like $1,000 on the other ones if you wanted to.
Knowing me, I'd take my $20,000, put it on the Lions, and I have no money for the rest of the year.
You're just you don't get to make picks anyway. That's the problem when you start doing things
I had
like
a real good feeling.
We'll go with the classic martingale system. You know all about this one, Cam. You
Yeah.
start out with the $1,000 bet. It loses. Okay, 2,000. That
Yeah,
loses.
yeah,
4,000,
exactly.
8,000.
We've seen
you lose
people
5
look
games in
at.
a row. You're broke.
Oh, I didn't know the Yankees were going to get a four-game sweep to the Devil Rays. I'm out 38 grand. Yeah, it happens.
I will throw out that if people want to play props and maybe sports betting isn't legalized in their state or country as of yet, like if you're in Canada, you don't have access to DraftKings Sportsbook, I highly recommend prizepicks.com because I'm looking at one of them on there right now. If you use code MMN when you deposit, you'll get up to $100 deposit match. So deposit 100, get $100. So you have $200. I'm just actually looking at an Elijah Mitchell prop up there right now, over under 66.5 rushing yards. I really like the over on that, but at all sports books, I think the number's like 74.5 right now. So that's one where you can kind of catch them with their pants down on that one. Code MMN at prizepicks.com. And if you want to play 5 props together on a Sunday, no Monday Night Football, but just Sunday, and you make an entry for $7.11, that gets you in the Mayo Media Network props pool, where you not only do you get 10 times your money if you win on all 5, you also get a bonus $50 on top of it. So if you're not a very high stakes player, but you want to try to win some money, I mean, you get 5 picks right, you win $123 off $7. Not bad. So just make your entry for $7.11 and you'll be good to go. PrizePicks.com, code MMN. Bronze pick, Rob Pizzola.
This one's an ugly one, but I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers +3.
Love it. I almost took that instead of Jacksonville. That's too many points with Atlanta, Pizzola.
Yeah, listen, Atlanta, the last 4 weeks, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna classify Carolina as this amazing team, but there's a decent chance that Atlanta's way overrated now because they've played Miami, the Jets, Washington, and the Giants in the last 4 weeks. They actually lost to Washington, so I mean they didn't even beat them, but they're being propped up right now on a very easy strength of schedule. And the reality is, I know Sam Darnold sucks. I hate betting on Sam Darnold just in general, but this is his best chance for success in a long time because the Falcons do not have a good defense, and they especially do not get after the quarterback. They're one of the worst pass rushing teams in the entire league, and Dante Fowler is hurt for them. You look at last week against Miami, we talked about the Dolphins' horrible offensive line. The Falcons didn't get any pressure against Tua last week. They will not get pressure on the Carolina Panthers, who have a very good offensive coordinator who can scheme some things up for Darnold this week. So I just think that this is a good matchup for the Panthers offense. And honestly, like the Falcons have problems on the O-line that haven't been able to be exposed by these teams, the Dolphins, the Jets, the Giants, bad pass rushes. Carolina is the first top 10 defense that they're going to face in terms of pressure rate this season. They can get after the quarterback. I think you're going to see the Matt Ryan you saw potentially in the first couple weeks of the year, deer in the headlights against Tampa Bay, throwing 2 pick sixes, week 1 horrible against Philadelphia. So, I mean, this is just like I compared the stocks earlier, but I think we buy low on the Panthers, sell high on the Falcons. I don't see much separating these two teams, so I'll take the 3 points.
I'm with you on Carolina. I don't know if it's not going to make one of my top 3 plays, but Philly and Carolina, man, they just take my money every single week. It sucks.
It's tough. There's certain teams that, I guess, like the Panthers could be bad. The offense could be terrible. I think that they're probably somewhere between what they looked like in the early season versus how abysmal they've looked in the past couple weeks. But I will say this, just the last thing on Carolina here. Their coaching staff is not scared to make a move at quarterback. We saw it last week. If Darnold comes out and he sucks, they'll go to PJ Walker. They don't care about Darnold's feelings or anything like that, or what they traded for him in the offseason. So I think that's just like an added incentive where, okay, if Sam Darnold has a bad game, it probably cost you for like a quarter or a half, but you get PJ Walker in there, potentially throw this Falcons defense off guard as well. So it's an adaptive coaching staff, and I think that's something that you have to consider as well.
All right, so I've made a short list here of my bronze picks.
Love this part.
Yeah, this is a tough one to go through. So here are the ones that I'm liking. I tried to find a Deebo Samuel receiving prop because I really wanted to bet the under. But, of course, they don't know if he's playing or not with this calf injury. I want someone to run a study on this, Pizzola, because I'm far too lazy. But anytime that someone comes in with like this questionable tag into the game at receiver, if you just blindly bet all of their unders, I feel like you'd be up a lot of money.
We should throw this to the YouTube members. Last week they gave us all the popcorn information after the fact. There was all sorts of links, and Cam, I'm apologize. The over half deaths was an absolute lock. There was been a ton of popcorn deaths
and broccoli.
I'm sure. I didn't see the broccoli links.
There's new broccoli information. They joke about it on The Simpsons too. No, it's just a lot of things, man. Like, I think the bottom line is, I talked about dangerous foods. You just got to watch for things that are really, really dry that stick when you're sleeping, like what you did, Pizzola. When you're having a little cat nap, that's why popcorn's really dangerous, because, you know, your mouth tightens up, you get air dry in there, the trachea, the kernels, all that other stuff. But sorry, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt, but yes, food can be dangerous. Got to be real careful.
Yeah, but like if you wake up and it's in your throat, like do people not have access to water? I just don't really understand.
Yes, I do have access to water, but the problem is sometimes, like when you're choking on something, you're also panicking too. Like how many times have you had a chicken bone caught in there and it's not working? You're like, oh my God, I got real problems. Eventually you get to it, but
sorry, what?
If you can't breathe for a chicken bone. Oh God, chicken's the number one. It's not even close. They have 1 million bones. That or fish. Fish has the most bones. Chicken, like you're dead with that stuff.
I'm not denying I'm not denying that you would be in trouble if you got a chicken bone stuck in your throat.
But like all the time in restaurants, people are doing Heimlichs and stuff. Like you get chicken bones cut all the time. They're little bones. Remember the Tragic Live, full of all them little bones. Yeah, there's a lot of little bones, and little bones get caught in your throat.
Love the Gord Downey impression.
Problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get it. No. Listen,
eat that chicken slaw.
I was sorry. This is totally on me, Cameron.
It is on you. I got to go see my mom. Yeah, but anyway, finish your story.
I thought you were talking about like wings and like you're eating the bones.
I'm talking about chicken with bones. No, I'm not eating wing bones.
Well, I've seen you eat wings before, right? And for those who don't know, Cam puts like the whole wing in his mouth and he like, grips it,
lock and load, you go,
and rips it. And I could see, like, I thought maybe sometimes the bone was like he's biting so hard that the bone was coming down. But anyways.
Cam,
it's similar to the cartoons, Pat.
Cam, do you wear gloves when you eat chicken wings like Tim Andercust, who also eats them with a knife and a fork?
He doesn't wear gloves. He actually wears gloves.
What?
Like if he's not
going to use... What? You're telling me a man wears gloves for chicken wings?
Yeah. He doesn't like the sauce on his fingers.
And that's the best part. You lick your fingers afterwards. He gets great.
I'm not.
This guy's taking freak to new levels. Like, if I saw somebody eating like chicken wings with gloves in the restaurant, I might go over and have it. Like, sir, like, do you need help with anything else? Like, who wears gloves? Like, who wears gloves unless you're a waiter, like eating food? Like, are you nuts?
I don't know.
I've seen guys with ice cream gloves before, which is don't even get me started on that.
Ice cream gloves?
Yeah,
why?
They eat out of the cone and they don't want it to drip onto their hands, so they put on like this.
You ever heard of water and soap? Even Dawn?
We live in a very sad age. It's
the only time you're in gloves, you got a batting glove, you're playing sports, golf glove. Like if you wear any glove eating any type of food, I don't want to know you. Unless you're a waiter bringing the food over with your damn gloves. Pat, these guys are freaks. Like, I love Anderson, but like, you cannot wear gloves eating chicken wings. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's almost not even real. It's so stupid.
I'll throw you out some games.
It can't be true.
Listen.
Okay, sorry. We still got to do your picks. See, Pizzola, you got us off track again.
Yeah, you were the one that meant. didn't you mention pop? I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever.
no. Anyway, we talk about gloves. Okay, who do you like, Pat? Who do you like?
So I had the Chargers on a short list. I had Seattle on a short list. You guys, I mean, Rob took the Chargers already. Then you had Seattle. I would have Seattle minus 3.5. I don't know if I want to go head to head with you, Cam. I'm terrified of your record against both of us. That's probably not a great thing. I wanted this Debo prop. It's not available. I want to wait to see if T.Y. Hilton plays or not. If he's out, I am smashing that Michael Pittman yardage prop over, which I'm guessing is going to be like 61.5, which just he's going to crush that every time that Hilton doesn't play. Michael Pittman sees like 12 targets and he's good to go. So that leaves me with a bad number on Denver. I bet this at -3 early in the week. Now at DraftKings Sportsbook, it's -3.5 to play on my theory that Denver beats every bad team and loses to every good team. And I just think that Washington is a terrible team, so Denver should kick their ass. And then I have the 49ers at -4. I feel like the Bears D is so beat up right now. Maybe Hicks will be back, but Mac isn't playing. But it's really just Justin Fields against the Niners defense. Like, the Niners defense is still pretty good. They're still going to get to the quarterback. The Bears can't block. 4 doesn't seem like a ton, even though, like I said, Debo might be a bit banged up. Not sure where their offense is at right now. So it's Denver who I would really want. I was thinking about taking the Saints. They've already been taken on this. The Chargers have already been taken on this. So what do you guys make of Denver -3.5? And you talk about like a buy low situation. If they had beat the Browns on Thursday night, Rob, coming off this now like mini by 10 days rest to get everyone healthy, Jerry Jeudy back, feel like they'd be like 6.5 point favorites if they had just won that game.
I like the Denver offensive matchup. I think the Broncos front 7 on defense right now is a real problem, especially if Von Miller doesn't play. They already have 6 linebackers on IR. This is a team that suffered from major injuries last year, and they're suffering from it again this year. That's my concern. But I don't like the Washington football team defense in general. I love that Denver is getting Jerry Jeudy back because they just really haven't had that. Like, he's just a game changer of a player. And anytime you get a skill position player like that back in the lineup, I think it's worthwhile. But I don't know. To me, like 3.5 to me is the right number. That's the best I can put it. I mean, these are the low total. Like 2 of the games you mentioned, San Fran, Chicago, Washington, Denver are low total games where you're laying points. That's not something I typically love to do. That doesn't mean that you're not having the right side in those games, but it's just not a strong opinion here.
What about over 44.5 in that game?
I bet the over at 43.
Yes.
I like it. I like the over.
I agree.
Like, this is 3 points lower than a league average total. With Washington's defense and Denver,
Washington could score, and their defense is overrated. So yeah, I think you can go there, Pat.
I agree, and like just the Denver defense is not what we thought it was because of the injuries. The thing that concerns me is these long Broncos drives. Teddy's like, he can take you on that 8-minute drive where they kick a field goal at the end. But even then, I still think that this is a low number.
Oh, what if I do Eagles, Niners, Seahawks, Denver money line parlay? That still doesn't really pay all that much. No, well, that's no fun.
Eagles,
Niners, Seahawks, Broncos money line parlay only pays 5 to 1. That's not great.
Not enough.
Not enough.
No.
Screw it. I made my case for Seattle. I'm taking Seattle -3.5. I think they blow.
Yeah, we guarantee a winner. It's better that way.
We cannot go 0-9 this week, guys.
By the way, eating chicken wings with gloves, you got to wash the gloves. It's even
no.
You toss it.
It's a moronic move.
You toss the
hey,
gloves.
everybody, I got barbecue sauce. What? You toss the gloves? What? Is he wearing like Dexter serial killer mix?
Yes.
Like
of
the
course he
What
is.
a sight. Oh, I thought he's wearing like, hello, I'm Tim. I'm bringing in my eyes toners and eating wing and washing the gloves, like reusable gloves. So he's buying latex gloves to eat wings. If I see a guy eating wings with latex gloves, he's basically a serial killer on the side. That makes him even more crazy. I'd rather see him wear high-class gloves. If you saw a guy with latex gloves eating wings, you go, who is this person? And why are they here? Why are they in my neighborhood? And are they on a list of dangerous predators? That's
I agree.
what I want to know.
I try not to be a judgmental person.
Pizzola, you agree with me on this one because there's no disagreement. That is a freak move.
I mean, it's
latex gloves, wings? Come on.
I don't know about freak move. I'll use my terms here. Like, it's very peculiar.
That's what they give you wet nabs for. And there's a thing called a sink with a couple dials. If you don't like liquid soap, you could use a bar.
There's
Like,
lots of
come on.
options other than the glove. Let's,
That sounds made up, Pat. You tell Tim I like him as a human being, but some of this stuff is just it's not even real.
Well, this weekend he was telling us how he eats candy corn with plain yogurt and it's delicious. So we're making him do it on camera.
Actually, that one I like more than the gloves and whatever. And I'll try candy corn with yogurt. I don't mind that.
But plain yogurt though.
Well, the candy corn's got sweetness in it, so it kind of makes actually, I'm not going to scoff at that. I'm going to scoff at his latex gloves.
Well, Cam said a couple weeks ago he would eat shrimp off the carpet at his house at 3 a.m. So I don't think he's gonna have a problem with candy corn and yogurt.
Why not? Yeah, I got a couple keys from my soundboard on the floor. I told you I got some Lucky Charms on the floor right now.
Please tell me you don't have the
water
eggs on the
bottle.
Floor. Please tell me you cleaned up the eggs from last week. If those are still
no. And actually, Pizzola, it was a brilliant move. Cold at night, the eggs, instead of being all liquidy and hot, whatever, they just kind of went in. I got the Dawn, my brush. Rinse. Now I got a clean carpet with all the dirt and eggs out of it. Isn't that beautiful? It was my outdoor carpet, by the way. It's not my indoor carpet.
It all makes sense now. I was trying to piece this together because
I told you that. Don't you read the Twitter? I told the guy, it was the eggs fell on the outdoor carpet.
Oh, I was under the impression that it was inside as well.
Yeah.
Oh, inside. I'm not waiting 2 days to clean eggs inside. I'm not.
Well, that's why we all thought it was so crazy.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys thought it was crazy just for leaving eggs over 24 hours outside. Like as I said, run the tape, Shag. Who's coming to my door? I said. So whatever. Like I was telling you guys, kind of anyway. Whatever.
What carpet do you have outside? Is it like
a mat, a welcome mat? Yeah. Like a welcome.
It's not really
mat
a carpet. I guess it can be, but like I was very confused by this whole story.
Anyway, eggs really hold in that carpet. It's like they're there, but they're gone now. They're gone now.
Last thing before I let you guys get out of here. If you've used the Rams and Bills and Survivor already, and you're still alive, do you just have to use the Bengals?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, then who do you use?
So here's my opinion. If you've used the Rams and Bills, I think since he's going to be heavily owned this week, right? They're probably going to win, but
I think the Jets might cover.
The Bengals are probably going to win. Don't get me wrong, but at some point, like you're playing a survivor pool to win, not to split it with like a million other people, right?
Chiefs.
You Chiefs is what I would do this.
Okay, let's say I see. This is the problem that I have. I've used the Chiefs, I've used the Rams, and I've used the Bills. Like, Jeff. Jeff took the Chargers, and I was like, I feel better about the Bengals here.
I think you kind of have to use the Bengals in that situation.
Yeah,
you had to use the Cardinals last night.
Actually, and the Chargers isn't bad. That'd be one on the list too. Yeah.
I mean,
it's tough.
The difference is like 7 points between the Bengals and like the next closest favorite.
Yeah, that's why. So like you get to a point where even though they're really highly picked, your expected value is still higher because of there's no other big favorites on the boards except for Arizona last night. You would have lost. So. I think at that point you kind of have to throw the Bengals in there.
All right, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Cam Stewart, tell everyone where you're at this week.
Sports Grid, that's my home when I'm not cleaning eggs off carpets. I'm usually doing shows. Update guy, and then I do a show with Gabe Morency every day, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern, called Game Time Decisions and In-Game Live. It's strictly betting. Opening numbers, live numbers, everything. This Sunday, we do the live NFL show with my boy Kevin Walsh from the Bronx, 1 to 4 o'clock. Gabe's on after me, but we'll have a good time. We go through all the games, Pat and Rob, and we do all the in-game live stuff, try to find some numbers and situations and hopefully make some money. It's been a great season until last week where I'm running a little bit cold, but we're turning it around.
Roberto? Betstamp.app.
Roberto.
That's a good one. Even
my
mother
Roberto.
didn't call me Roberto.
I like Roberto. He's Roberto from now on, Pat. Excellent.
He's a Roberto Pizzola.
Hey, Roberto.
My birth certificate is Robert. It is Robert. Even though, my parents Canadianized my names, even though it was very common to still give the Italian version. But anyways, Robert Pizzola Jr., the second, named after my dad, which, by the way, like if you have kids, Pat, you do have kids. Cam, if you ever do,
no, I'm not gonna.
Don't name them after you.
Well, no,
it is just.
I agree. I'd never name my kid after me.
I always thought that, that if you're named after your father, you're junior, but you can be the second if you're named after someone else in your family. That's what I always thought. That
Yeah. What about the third or the fourth?
yeah,
Davis Love the
that all
third,
comes
and Harold
after
Brunner the
that,
third.
that all comes after junior. But I think if you're, I could be completely off on this.
Yeah.
But if
No, you might be right.
If your father
think
names
you're
you
right.
after himself, you're junior. But if like you're named after your grandfather, you would be the second.
Yes.
Like my son,
Yes.
like my son is named after my grandfather, he's still with us, so we don't call him by the same name because that'd just be very confusing. But
What's
he's
your
not.
kid, Pat? What's his name?
His name is Wolf, but his actual name is Murdoch.
Wolf?
His name is Murdoch Mayo, but it's Murdoch Wolf Mayo, so we just call him Wolf. But technically,
Wow,
he would
Murdoch Wolf Mayo the second.
That
What
is-
a name. He
that
sounds
is
very
an incredible.
I'm very regal.
He
That's a
should be
very
sol-
regal
He's going to
name.
be solving crimes one day. That is definitely a crime solver name.
We'll get him the old timey hat. He'll be good to go. But I think that's how it would work. Technically, he'd be Murdoch Mayo the second, not Mayo. And if it was Patrick
What a
Mayo,
name.
he'd be Patrick Mayo Jr.
I see. I don't know
I
don't know
think-
if that's right or wrong, but I think it sounds like you made a good enough case that I believe you. Like I feel like that's correct. But yeah, just don't do it because like from the age of 13 to 20, I would answer the house phone and people would say like, hi, is Rob there? And I had no friggin' clue if it was for me or for my dad, or I'd just pick up and they'd start talking to me like it was my father. And I'd be like on the phone awkwardly for 2 minutes listening to some guy.
I like the 3 at Woodbine. You can box the 3 and then 11. Oh, say hey Jerry.
It's it's not a good move. If you already named your kid after you, fine. I mean, there's no house phones anymore, so it's probably not even a problem. But yeah. Anyways.
All right.
Yeah. BetStamp. Please.
BetStamp.
Sorry, Pat. BetStamp.app. Check out the website. Download the app on Android or iOS. We're still going to get Cam set up with an account eventually. Hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe this is the week that we'll get Cam on the app. But it is a great betting utility. You can always find the best number. You can do great blind shopping with it and a number of other things as well. So please just check it out.
All right. You can follow me at the PME. Smash the like and subscribe to Mayo Media Network as we are still in the race for 30,000 subs. I do have if you live in, Pennsylvania, Indiana, or New Jersey, and you're currently watching this show, if you use code DOP for the Dogger Pass podcast at DraftKings Sportsbook app, let's see here. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win the game, and they get $200 if they win. So that's probably something you want to take advantage of. Free money, like we talk about all the time. Just like if you go to prizepicks.com and use code MMN, you get the match deposit of up to $100. Use code DOP at DraftKings Sportsbook. If you're in Indiana, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, boom, you're good to go. You crush it with the money on that one. That's a great one. Anyway,
what was that podcast called?
The Dogger Pass podcast. Do you not watch the Dogger Pass podcast, the most profitable show on the Mayo Media Network?
That sounds. I mean, I don't, but I will. I'll check it out. It sounds like Cam's dating life, actually. Dogger Pass.
That's mean, Pizzola.
That was actually stupid. And my girlfriend can beat you up, Pizzola. So
I'm not saying.
if she watches this tape, like she is going to put you in a pretzel and you're not going to have any.
First of all, I have not met.
Anyway,
your girlfriend. This is not a
I know. I
commentary
know. You
on
just
her.
tried to crack a joke and your joke sucked.
I thought it was pretty good. I think
It was
maybe I'll
horrible
get some
and,
laughs. out of it.
and mean, as Patrick said, mean
It was
spirited.
It was mean spirited. It was mean spirited. That's fine. I mean, it just came to me when he said Dogger Pass.
Dogger
and
Pass.
it
No,
was
I have a long-term girlfriend, and by the way, as I said, I don't even like when I'm having a slump. I don't cheat on her and stuff like that. I do a lot of things in my life, but adultery is not one of them. I have a lot of other problems: greed, gluttony, everything else. Adultery. I always treat women with the utmost respect, Pizzola. So you better watch out, buddy.
I would like to meet your girlfriend and maybe do a dinner or something.
I don't know. She might put a vodka bottle through your head the way if she watches this show.
She's gonna put a vodka bottle through my head.
She gets pretty angry when she drinks. But anyway, let's wrap it up here.
All right, I'm Pat Mayo. Like I said, at the PME, you can follow me, DraftKings Sportsbook, and subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience wherever download your podcast. Shout out to our friends on Game Plus Network as well if you're watching on Canada. I will see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!